Welcome ladies and gentlemen, my name's Chronic, your host here on this Destiny 2 video, and today we're going to be taking a look at one of my new favorite PvP Titan builds in Destiny 2. And honestly, I don't really see this build that commonly. Specifically, the last word and the missile component of this is not really that common, but it's an extremely effective build with some good common alternatives. And of course, big thank you to Zoomzy for helping with the Eclipse and this build. It's pretty much the build he rocks all the time. If you want to go check out his insanely good PvP gameplay, check in the description down below for his Twitch link. And throughout the video, you'll be seeing pictures of a build doc that I created for you, fully public for you guys to use. Just head over to my Discord found in the description down below, and in the channel hashtag spreadsheet stocks around the date that this video came out, you'll be able to find a link to that doc. Please use my doc as I take so much time to actually make it, and I think it's a great resource and also helps me figure out my thoughts. And the last thing I want to say before we get started is that I need your help. And I know I say things like this a lot. I have a lot of sponsors, I have my Patreon and all that whatnot, but for this particular instance, I'm asking for a specific donation so that I can get a new computer. Because the computer I have now is around 5 years old, and it is honestly like duct taped together. Like, I've overclocked the GPU, the CPU, turned the fans up to maximum, and I'm eking the last little bits of this computer as I possibly can, but I do need to get a new one if I'm to have the high quality gameplay that you see on this channel. And honestly, the streaming as well, because that's starting to dip as well. So if you happen to have some gold bars or gold studded jewelry or gold studded giraffes just sitting around in your apartment, I can help you get rid of it. So check in the description down below. You'll find a link to the donation if you want to help me get that computer. And I'm being very conservative about this computer, by the way. I'm not going for the LEDs or the 2080 Ti's. I'm getting exactly what I need that'll last me for at least the next 4 years. And next to that link, there'll also be the computer I want to buy. If you want to check that out, you can see it's around $1,100 with tax. It might be a little bit more, and you can see what I'm doing. I'm also putting it together to reduce costs. I talked to an actual PC builder to get the right configurations. Like, I'm being very precise and very not vain about this. I'm just getting something that works well so I can give you guys the best that you can receive. And on top of that, there's a bunch of incentives. There's different goals along the way for bonus push-ups. If you donate during a live stream, I'm going to be doing push-ups for every dollar's worth. There's a lot of fun stuff, so come check that out. Moving on to the actual build, like I said before, this is a PvP Titan build that's built on the exotic armor line Rampant and the strong hipfire capabilities of the last word. Now, the main use of the exotic armor is to help you float high above targets and shoot them from above, where last word again is really good at hipfire shooting, and that's why you use line Rampants in the air. And with this exotic, you can also last much longer in the air and have much more accuracy up there. Moving on to the specs of the build for the class and subclass, I use the Titan arc code of the missile. We'll talk more about why I use the missile later. I personally like using the lightning grenade, tower barricade, and strafe lift. For the guns, I like using the last word, beloved, and play of the game. It has a good balance of different ranges and options in it. The main focus of this build is to use a good hip firing weapon, so any weapon with the hip fire grip is going to work well for this build. Specifically, the last word does the best, but for example, Waking Vigil does actually have hip fire grip in it, which is why I recommend it. On top of that, there are a bunch of other alternatives. You can definitely use this build almost the same way with regular weapons like Dire Promise, which are pretty common. Something that I'll note before moving on from the weapons is that some of these items are going to be sunset this season, so things like the Beloved, Revoker, Imperial Decree, Waking Vigil, all of these are going to be trapped at the 1060 level. So you're going to have to find new weapons that will fill the same kind of things, but all of the exotics are going to be sticking around because they do not sunset. Moving on to the armor section of this build, the most complex and sophisticated part of this build, because I tried to use all 10 points on all of the armor pieces as well as get everything that I possibly could. And the big thing I will say here is that the artifact bonuses are big. So depending on what the artifact bonuses are next season, this build could get even stronger if we have more hand cannon bonuses in the artifact, which we're due for more hand cannon stuff. For the most part, everything should be pretty straightforward why I'm using it. If I'm having hand cannon targeting, it's for my hand cannon. If you know the specific seasonal mods, you know why I'm using those particular ones. But I also wanted to run down through a priority order of what things you should focus on first. So in the priority order, I would honestly say focus on recovery first. Try to get that up to a tier 9 to tier 10. So pretty much all of your armors are going to have probably recovery in that first column because it is very important. After that, I would try to get a lot of mobility, where Powerful Friends does help a lot. However, since Season of Arrivals came in this season, you can only use one Powerful Friends for mobility, but it's still a good thing to have, and it also has that Charge with Light bonus that I did not know about until today. After that, you want to focus on your primary ammo weapon mods, like your hand cannon targeting, reloading, and unflinching. After that, focus on your special weapon stuff, so shotgun and sniper scavenger and rifle unflinching. If you did not know, the enhanced rifle unflinching from the artifact actually works with sniper rifles, so having two of those makes your sniper very unflinching. And lastly are going to be the Charge with Light mods. They're not totally necessary, they're definitely something that I've learned more about recently. They're definitely like an upper echelon of play to give you a pretty significant damage bonus for almost free. The most important part is going to be high energy fire and taking charge, where every orb of light gives you a Charge with Light, and that Charge with Light gives you like a kill clip style damage bonus, which is pretty strong. Combine that with inertial override and you can two-shot headshot people with the last word. Pretty saucy. Moving on to the gameplay, because it's often just as important to know how you use this build as how you make the build. So I would say a big part of this build is going to be controlling your defensive plays. And a lot of your defensive plays should be done from high floating, where you run around a corner, you jump up in the air, and you float for a while, and with Lion Rampant, you can actually float there for a really long time. And this will often confuse opponents, as very few people will stay in the air that long. Even with the hunters jumping up, nobody ever stays in the air that long, and it'll also make people have to aim up at you, try to figure out where you are, and that can allow you to get the first 2 shots in an engagement. Very accurate hip fire with Last Word and the Lion Rampant. It's very good to have. However, obviously don't defensive float too much, as it does become predictable. Outside of that, you should be sliding on many of your approaches to move your head's hitbox from crouch level to standing level very quickly. That's a big part that many people may overlook. And of course, sniping should still be done on the ground. Even though you have better accuracy in the air, you should focus on sniping on the ground. So as I said before, the Last Word is going to be your primary weapon if you're following the direct build. Can 3-shot headshot and nearly 4-shot body shot most enemies, similarly to the exact same damage as a 150 hand cannon, which is why Last Word is kind of in the high skill ceiling, because it does the 150 hand cannon damage at 225 RPM. As far as range engagements go, you should only engage if you're getting around 50 damage headshots, otherwise you should re-engage with either your sniper rifle or from a closer angle, which is very common, by the way. In Destiny 2, there's almost always a better option to re-engage from a closer angle. And as a personal note, I find the 150 RPM hand cannons and the Last Word to fire a little bit too fast at times, so sometimes it's better to just slow down your shots, go for accuracy, and make sure you're hitting your shots. Especially with the Last Word, you only have 8 shots in a magazine, you're very unlikely to get 2 kills with 1 magazine, so make sure you're hitting your shots. Your subclass is mainly valuable for 2 main things. Firstly, your super is a very strong and easy to use anti-super super. Should be pretty obvious, and you can oftentimes get pretty much guaranteed double kills or anti-super kills twice a match. Secondly, inertial override, an often overlooked part of this subclass where you slide over ammo and it gives you a kill clip style damage bonus, which pretty much every enemy in the game outside of not having any special ammo will drop special ammo when they die. Combine this damage boost with high energy fire and you can 2-shot headshot any enemies, which is pretty nice. For your kit, your lightning grenades is a very strong zoning and defensive tool that can often net you accidental kills, and it also does a lot of damage. I think it does like 150 damage. You'll do most of what you need with a lightning grenade just by running away, throwing it at like a wall around you, and accidentally getting kills. And of course, your towering barricade can be used to block off choke points and huddle in a corner to recharge your shields. I can't tell you how often I've just ran around the corner, put my butt in a corner, put up a towering barricade, and somebody's come around the corner and just stared at me going, how do I solve this math problem? And I go, yeah, take your time, I'll be here. Alright, so that is the main part of the build. Next up, I'm going to talk about a few alternatives. First of all, I have mentioned a lot of weapon alternatives along the way. Depending on the map range and style, you're going to want to swap out your shotgun to a sniper rifle, and then of course your Last Word out to a Dire Promise. It does change based on the map. And of course, you should also have a separate set of legs, so you can have sniper or shotgun scavenger on your legs, because it doesn't fit with special ammo scavenger. And your subclass can be changed out for Code of the Aggressor. I made a build a few months ago about the PvP Titan. I think I just hit my mic there. I made a build about a PvP Titan, focus on Code of the Aggressor. Still very good, strong roaming super with defensive capabilities, with range capabilities, and it also has a good charge melee. Shoulder charges as a Titan main are my favorite. Well, yeah, that is going to be pretty much the end of the build. Let me know in the comments down below if you have any questions, any concerns. Of course, check out in the Discord for the build doc and all that whatnot. And in case you don't know, I do have a lot of builds that I have created at this point. In fact, a full playlist of all the builds that I have made over the last, like, 4 or 5 months now, so check that out on my channel. But yeah, that's going to be the end of the video. Hope you guys did enjoy. My name has been Chronic, and I'll see you guys on the next one.